And then we'll go down to the buttocks muscles. I'll show you how to do that. Now to do the upper part of the chest, again, just like what you did with the towel at the bottom, fold the towel under. A little bit of oil on. And there's two ways of doing this. It depends on your client, and Lisa, I want you to tell me what's more comfortable for you.
Okay.
What I normally will do is, after I put the oil on, I will put my fingers, my index fingers, right up against their armpit. And then I will take my thumb and massage the pectoral muscle right here in small circles. You can either alternate or you can do the two together. Okay, now that's one feeling that you'll get, Lisa. You tell me if you like that one or this one. This is more general because I'm doing it with the palm of my hand and all four fingers instead of my thumb.
I like that one better.
You like this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you tell me, is that too hard?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Perfect.
Most women and most men really enjoy this feeling. Right above the breast, it's that muscle that very seldom ever gets massaged unless you have an ache or a pain in it, and then you reach across with your hand and you start to rub up in here. Occasionally, you're going to have a woman who's extremely sensitive there. And quite frequently, it's not, as you start to do this, you have to do it very, very gently. And I've only run into a few who have had very sensitive feelings here. Normally, it's not because of physical pain, it's emotional pain, something that has happened from their past. The only thing you can do in a case like that is to slowly, ever so slowly, over a period of sessions, build up their trust to the point of where they will allow you to touch them here. You're nowhere near the breast down here. You're right up here in the muscle. But even here, they're extremely protective. And if you slowly work on it, ever so gently, they will allow you to do it. And before you know it, you'll be doing it just as firmly there as you do it with any other client. You can go down again, right between the breast area, massaging the ribs right where they meet the breastplate. A little bit of work up here along the collarbone. Now on the deltoid. Now as I'm going around in circles, I'm also pushing down toward the table. And wipe all the oil off. I can't state enough how important it is to get the oil off. Because if you have a client that puts their clothes on over oily skin, they are not usually going to say anything to you. They just will not come back.
The towel feels good too.
The towel feels good?
Mm-hmm.
You always got to remember that your fingers went into different areas that normally you might miss as you wipe. So make sure you go into all the little spots. Okay, next we're going to do the arm. Just uncover down to the side. Bring the arm out a little bit. You want to put just enough oil on your hand to do the upper part of the arm first. Take her hand and tuck it under your ribs and hold it with your elbow, just to kind of keep it out of the way so it doesn't flop around. You're doing most of the support with your hands. Get the oil on good, and then on the bicep, little tiny circles, little kneading circles. Do a small mini petrissage. Now lay the elbow down. And do the forearm. The way to do the forearm is to just imagine that you can divide the forearm into quarters. Divide it this way and this way. So holding on to the wrist, strip the muscle from the wrist to the elbow with your thumb. Right down that quarter. You like that, huh? Now switch hands. Hold her wrist with your other hand and strip the muscle down the other quarter. Just like on the feet, you can spend a lot of time on the forearm and the hands. Now to do the other side of the arm, just flip it over. Do this quarter. And then this quarter. You're going to add just a little less pressure on this part right here because you're going right over the bone. Now just do as much of the arm as you can. Just wrap your hand right around. Now remember, you're always going to be thinking about what you're going to do next. The very next thing you can do, it's in the perfect position to do it. Slide right on up here and go right into the wrist. Just like you did on the ankle. And just turn it over. And from this position, hold the wrist, intertwine your fingers into theirs. Just like holding hands with them. Go around in a circle, as far as you can extend it. Then go in the reverse direction, the other way. Lisa, you're just nice and loose. It's just perfect. Now, as you take your hand out of her fingers, don't just take it out. Slowly go up her fingers. And go back down again. Do it again. You're squeezing and stretching and massaging as you go up. From this position, go right into the palm. If you don't have the strength in your thumbs to do this, lay it down here and use your knuckles. Do the joints. When you do the back of the hand, just like the top of the foot, go right up between the tendons. And wipe it off. Wipe your hand off really good. Because you've got one more technique to do with the hand, and you need as much friction as you can get to do it. Now I need to wipe mine off as much as possible. Take your fingers, your index fingers, put it in between the thumb and the index finger, and on the other hand, stick it between the little finger and the ring finger. On the back of the hand, you bring your fingers together until they just touch. On the front of the hand, you lay your thumbs and the palms against her hand, and you spread it open. Just like peeling an orange. You like that one, huh? Then when I'm all done, I just kind of hold it and squeeze it. And gently lay it down. And then go on to the other arm. Now as we come into the neck, I want to lift the head, remove the towel from under. Put just a little bit of oil on your fingers. You want to trap the hair in your hand. Tilt her head over and to the side just a little bit. You're going to go down the trapezius. You're going to go from the back of the neck right up in the base of the skull. Take your fingers. You're going to do it with these two fingers. Go down, not over the top of the shoulder, but over the back, right to the scapula, right there. So go down and up, down, up. You're kind of tight right in there, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Go around little circles. Then the last move is a nice long stretch. From right here, you hold her head, you take this hand, and you push her shoulder away from her ear. Just pull it straight out. And then we do the same thing on the opposite side. And when we get finished with both sides of the neck, I'm going to take this off. It's going to start to brighten up a little bit, Lisa. I'll leave the cotton pads on for a minute. Now we take the head, we cradle it in our hands with the ear between the thumb and the index finger. We bring it all the way over to the side, touch the ear to the shoulder, and rotate. Touch the ear to the shoulder, rotate, as if you're wiping the cheek down over the shoulder. Don't be afraid to stretch it. Bring it back to the middle. Now, support the head in the back and bring her chin up. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
You want a little further, or is that far enough?
A little bit further.
Okay. One more time. And this time, as you go down, hold the head again. Take your fingers, go to the opposite side. So I'm going over to the left side of her spine, into the shoulder again, in the trapezius muscle. And I'm going to start alternating my hands in a crisscross fashion, more or less like this. I'm going to go from that side to this side, one hand over the other. I'm pulling on her head at the same time. And we go to the face. Normally, if a person doesn't want their face or their hair done, don't try to talk them into it. They don't want it done right now. But I take the oil off my hands, and I have enough oil trapped in my hands that I won't put excess oil on their face. Now, I know that Lisa wears contacts. When they wear contacts, you never want to touch their eyes, because she still has them in. Normally, a person will take them out if they've had more than just a few massages. But if you put your fingers on their eyes and move those contacts around, again, you're destroying the whole massage. Go down below the eyes, across the cheeks. In other words, you kind of split the face in half. From the very center line, you go out. And you work your way down the cheeks, right across the upper lip. And form your fingers in little V's and go right down the chin line. And up into the jaw. And on the side of the neck below the ears. And up into the temples. And the last part is the ears. Now, smooth out the hair, wipe the excess oil off. down to the side. Cradle her head in your hand. Tilt her head over until it touches your forearm. Then run your fingers through the scalp. Like that?
Mm-hmm.
You really don't have to go around to the other side to switch hands. Just lay this hand on this side of her head and tilt it this way. And do the scalp from this side. You can spend as much time on the top of the head and the hair on the scalp as you probably could spend on the bottom of somebody's feet. Frequently I have people say, well, what happens if somebody doesn't want their makeup messed up or their hair messed up? Well, normally a person who's coming in for a massage knows they're going to be touched in the hair and on their face, and they won't wear makeup. If they do wear makeup or they've just had their hair done, I don't see any reason why they'd come in for a massage. But I've done a few, and they do not want their hair touched or their face touched. So we just don't do it. Now, when I'm all done with the scalp, I'm basically done with the massage, except I put the towel back under the head, supported. I like to raise a person's self-image because they not only just got a very relaxing, very beautiful massage, but I like to make them feel good inside as well as outside. And the way I do that, if a person has contacts, I don't put my fingers over their eyes, I put them just below their eyes. If they don't have contacts, I will rest my fingers right on the eye itself. But it's as if I'm holding their eyelids closed. I bring my fingers around and I touch their face, and I hold them in this position. And as I hold them in this position, this is what I say. Lisa, with your eyes closed, I'd like you to relax your eyes. Move your eyes into any position that feels good. Focus on your breathing. Feel each breath as you take in that fresh, clean oxygen deep into your lungs. Let out the last remnants of tension, frustration, anger, stress that you're carrying on the inside. Try to notice what colors you might see on the backside of your eyelids. As you focus on those colors, I'd like to tell you something. You know, Lisa, you have a lot of talents, skills, and abilities. You have very special feelings of love and kindness and consideration and gentleness. Now it's time for you to amplify them for yourself first. There is not now, there never has been, and there never will be another person exactly like you. That means that you are unique in all the world. Another word for unique is special. And Lisa, I also know that you're a very intelligent person. And it's incumbent upon you, as the intelligent and very beautiful person you are, to treat yourself with kindness and respect, and to take care of yourself. If you don't, not many other people will. You need to let them know how you want to be treated, and they will treat you the way you treat yourself. being special is important, so that everywhere you go, you can leave those feelings of warmth and kindness, uniqueness behind you, so that somebody else might cross your path even a day or two later and know that somebody very special crossed this way. Now, Lisa, I'd like you to notice how good you feel from the top of your head all the way down through your body to the bottoms of your toes. And then I want you to take all the time that's important for you to bring yourself back slowly, ever so slowly, as if you're reorienting yourself from the inside out. Bring yourself back as I take my hands off. You're still going to feel as if my hands are there. And I'll take my hands away, and you open your eyes only when you want to, not because you have to. And I want you to notice how good you feel when you open your eyes and feel better than you felt in a long, long time. Feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I'd like to show now is how to do the pressure points on the back and on the hips. First pressure point is on each side of the spine. You find C7, that's cervical number 7, and that is the first big bone that sticks out on the spinal cord. Right here. You go to each side of it, about a 1/4 inch off the bone. You take your thumbs and you push down toward the table. Now, some books will say to hold it down to the count of 7, and then up to the count of 3, and then down the count of 7, up to the count of 3. What I like to do is hold them down to the count of 30 or even 45, and up for the count of 5 or 10, and then back down again. After you do the first one, the next one is 2 fingers down for a man, 3 for a woman. Press down. 45 seconds later, up. And you would do 2 sets. The next one is to go right to the bottom of the shoulder blade and go straight in. This one you do not want to push down as hard as you do any of the other pressure points that I show you, because right here you're on top of the ribs. The next one is right at the end of the ribs. From the ribs, go straight in. For people with low back pain, this one and the rest that I show you down over the buttocks is going to do more to take away back pain than anything else you do. Again, 45 seconds, up for 10, back down for another 45. The next one and the last one you're going to be doing on the back, go down 2 fingers, again, 2 for men, 3 for women. Do 2 sets. Go all the way down one time and then start over again and go down, or you can do 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. And then the next one, the best way to find it is to come down and find the tailbone right here. Go out, straight out at a 45-degree angle, and as you do, you're going to feel yourself going right up the bone. You get to a point that is halfway from the tailbone to the outside of the hip. And as you go up, You feel that bone. It's a triangular shaped bone right here. As you go up that bone, you're going to feel a small indentation. Now, each of these that you do down here, you're going to be pushing towards the belly button. How's that for pressure? Okay. From that one, you go over and do this one. You go out about 1.5 to 2 inches. In other words, you want to go straight out from that one until you get right above the hip joint. You're not going to be pushing down on the joint, the ball and socket itself. You're going to be just inside of it. Again, pushing down and towards the center of the body. From this one, you'll go out and do this one. Now the next one, again, you find the tailbone right here. You come right off the tailbone on each side, and then you go down about 1/4 inch. And you're right at the end of the muscle that follows the spine. You push down again towards the belly button. And do this one on this side also. The next one is go back and find the tailbone again. Everything has its reference point on the tailbone. You come straight out until you're halfway between the center and the outside. Halfway. Tailbone, straight out, then go down at a 45, and you'll find out amazingly it usually winds right up on their panty line. About 1.5 inches down at a 45. Right there. Again, here's the tailbone. Go out about halfway, then down at a 45, and it's right there. Then the last one is right at the top of the thigh. You'll feel the femur bone. You take your hand, you rock it back and forth till you feel the bone right there. And then you go in just inside that bone and push straight down. And you would also do the same thing on this side. And those are your pressure points.